if everybody would like to give a very warm welcome, please, to Cefn Hoile.
Thank you. You're welcome to come in from the coffee area out there. I'll give you a few seconds. Okay, so, hello. What's the volume like? Can you all hear me? Excellent, okay. So, welcome, thank you very much for coming along for this. I think probably a lot of people in the audience know a lot about our project already, so I'm going to cover as much and as broadly as I can. Hopefully there'll be stuff you haven't seen already. The headline of the talk today was a manifesto, and like most work here presented, it's partially complete. So I really want your engagement. I'd really love to hear from you as to what our manifesto should be. And I'll tell you what the draft is right now, but I made that a few minutes ago. So, if you haven't been living under an open hardware rock for the last 6 years or so, you'll know what an Arduino is. And it's not just electronics, it's also a community. Massimo, one of the original team, described it as social electronics. And what's happened in response to the way the team, I think, has managed their project is a huge explosion of innovation. So this is an Angry Birds firer, for example, which, oops, hang on. Did you get all that? So Angry Birds firer, right? You get yourself a studio slider, it's got motorised, but it can also sense movement, and then you can fire Angry Birds with it. You can get yourself an ultrasonic sensor and then trigger a monkey to get your cat to catch. That kind of stuff, okay? So there's lots of stuff that's going on out there. This, when I'm presenting in schools, this is for making milkshakes, of course. But it's brilliant, you know, weekend project. This is what people are doing with the tools. Laser harp. This, if you are in a post-apocalyptic future, you can make a school with an Arduino by compressing mud into bricks and then building your school. And that's from Open Ecosystem, I think, Open Ecology. So there's a world of projects out there. Here are our recommendations. They're linked from the site. That's a great place to start if you want to cook something up. And of course, there's lots of remix projects because Arduino's own hardware. This is the Makey Makey. And who knows what the Makey Makey is? Few hands, not everyone, okay. So this thing appears as a USB keyboard because Arduino is capable of doing that these days. When you plug it in, and it's setting these bananas up such that you become the path of a button. So they've got very massive pull-up resistors. You connect the circuit, and then these become keys. And then you can interact with your favourite game. You can steer Mario around on the screen with wires that are put into alphabetic spaghetti and all kinds of crazy things. And this is, you know, some of the credit that we've got for what we've done, which is, you know, it's kind of missing the point. Low cost is a part of what we're doing, but it's not the big part. And that's what I really want the manifesto to start to scrape away. So, story so far. This is after a bit more than a year of running the project. It started with this man. Some people might know Peter Knight from Tinker It. So I was on the train with him when I was working for Tinker It. And he said, you know what, you could just take the chip out of this and you can just put that in there and you can just, you know, he's an electronics engineer, he knows lots of stuff. And he was telling me how trivial this stuff was. But then it didn't seem to be trivial, and that not everybody's doing it. Everybody's paying £16 for an Arduino board, when the thing that does most of the work is the Atmega chip, which is £1.18, the cheapest we've got it. This guy invited me to come and run an Arduino workshop, because I've been running Arduino workshops for a few years, just at his school. And this is the crew that came along. And we look very happy, but there's a dark undercurrent to this event. We got there, and of course, all of the lab computers are in lockdown. So we all have to use my laptop to program, can't install Arduino software. And of course, there's these 20 Arduinos, and we end up hacking some projects together, but then, at the end of the day, back in the box. They're, you know, 16, 20 quid's worth of hardware. So the school's only got enough to run a class. And when you're finished, you pull all the wires out, all those diligently inserted wires, you pull that in the box. So that's our first manifesto pledge, if you like. Anticipate emotion. See what it's going to feel like to work with a project. And the manifesto is about if you are documenting a prototype. So if you built something in electronics and you want people to take it up, have a think about what that experience is going to be like for them. And in this case, we've got Arduino, which is all powerful and it's fancy and it's brilliant. And in this context, too expensive. It'll end up back in the box with all the wires pulled out of it. Nobody gets to take it home. And at that same session, they had Hama Beads. You could iron them together, make your favourite character, and you took it home. And it's hands-on. You also had Fignition, which is an 8-bit computer that you can solder together, and the kids were really excited about that. You know, they're really involved with it. So then we thought, well, why don't we unpack Arduino so that it has all of those features? So this is a breadboard layout for the Arduino. It's Arduino compatible. It's the same as an Arduino Uno. It thinks it's an Arduino Uno. But we've spent a long time trying to find the cheapest possible way of tackling this, so that you pretty much just get the good stuff from the Atmega chip itself. So all of the Arduino pins are there. It's got the Arduino bootloader on it. It just thinks it's an Arduino. So you program it in C, or you can control it from Python. And so that way you can knock up some kind of a project. But so what's the focus of what we're doing? We're basically workshopping with people, we're documenting. So we figure out what it is that people can do and what it is that's natural for them to do, easy, fun, so on. And then we try and backfill that with lots of documentation so that teachers, hackspaces can pick it up and run with it. So when we're designing a particular project, what we're aiming to do is maximise possible futures. I'll give you some examples. They're around really anticipating other people's stress. So what kind of things are going to be the blocker for them when they pick it up? Well, you could easily, for a given project, start using the power rails. If you don't need to use the power rails, then what you'll end up with is a layout that works exactly the same on a 170-point breadboard or on strip board. So if you're talking with teachers or with kids, you can